Prince Harry's trip to Canada has landed right on the heels of Prince William's engagements in Brazil, creating a bit of a scheduling disaster for the feuding brothers. No, it's not a coincidence, the Sussexes and the Waleses just can't seem to avoid the dreaded diary clash. But let's talk about what Harry was doing on his Canadian visit. Was it a family reunion? No, just good old-fashioned military engagements, of course. During his time in Toronto, Harry met with the Canadian Reserve Forces, connecting with troops from two of the country's most storied Army Reserve regiments. Now, we're not talking about just any troops, this is the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada, established in 1860, and the Royal Regiment of Canada, which has been in virtually every significant Canadian military engagement since 1866. So, yeah, Harry's rubbing shoulders with some military heavyweights here. But here's the catch, these troops aren't just your average soldiers. They juggle demanding dual lives, they're combat-ready for global deployments, but they also hold full-time civilian jobs. Talk about multitasking. The Queen's Own Rifles are Canada's longest-serving infantry unit, and they've been deployed everywhere from Afghanistan to Poland. Meanwhile, the Royal Regiment has troops currently serving in places like Iraq, Latvia, and even Ukraine. They're busy, people. Harry didn't just shake hands, he got some real insider knowledge about these men and women's service. Lieutenant Colonel Chris Boylow of the Queen's Own Rifles shared his experience from Baghdad in 2016, supporting Operation Impact, and his more recent deployment to Warsaw in 2022. Over at the Royal Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Adam West gave Harry a rundown of his 2006 deployment to Afghanistan, and shared how his regiment is still going strong, supporting international missions in places like Iraq and Latvia. Pretty impressive, right? Now let's talk about the real juggling acts here, the senior enlisted personnel. Chief Warrant Officers Justin Thorne and Mariangelis Nagelis both serve as regimental sergeant majors for their respective regiments. But here's the kicker, they also have careers in civilian law enforcement. Can you imagine running military operations on top of, say, police work? That's some serious multitasking. These two have their hands full, but they're also making sure the next generation of reserve soldiers can balance their military obligations with civilian life. Let's not forget Harry's naval engagement, which took him to one of the Royal Canadian Navy's reserve divisions. Harry got to meet Commander Paul Smith, the first black commanding officer at this facility in 2021, and he made history back in 2014 as the first black officer to command a Canadian warship. Pretty groundbreaking stuff. Harry also got the chance to witness operational displays from diving specialists, deck weapons teams, and even naval musicians. Honestly, who knew the Navy had such a show-off squad? Harry wasn't alone on this trip, he had Nick Booth, the CEO of True Patriot Love, the Canadian Military and Veteran Foundation, accompanying him throughout his visit. True Patriot Love is all about supporting the troops and ensuring they've got the resources they need, because, let's be real, these reservists aren't just showing up to work for kicks. So what's the takeaway here? Prince Harry's Canadian trip wasn't a family reunion, but it was definitely a deep dive into the world of reservists. These men and women are balancing high-stakes military duties with civilian jobs, and they're doing it for their country and for their communities. And while the Wales brothers might be in different parts of the world, they're both contributing in their own way, just in different uniforms. But let's be honest, while Harry's making moves in Canada and William's charming Brazil, the question still stands, can these brothers ever find a way to stop clashing on their royal schedules? Guess we'll just have to wait and see.